This is the institutional framework of Mission Karmyogi. On one hand, we have the Capacity Building Commission. The commission is more like a think tank which seeks to evolve the capacity building ecosystem. It seeks to improve the training institutions. It has brought about the capacity building plans for various ministries and departments. So Capacity Building Commission is a think tank, and IGOT, which is a special purpose vehicle, the company which I represent. The company is running the platform, and this company is the digital arm of Mission Karmyogi. Where does IGOT stand today? We have got more than 9 million users on the platform, all of them from governments, all of them are government servants, both the union, federal government as well as the state governments. We have got more than 2,000 courses on the platform. The courses, I'll talk about the course universe of the platform a bit more in detail in the slides to come. We've got so many course enrollments and course completions. The platform is available, you can access this on your laptop, desktop. You can also download the apps and access it from your phones. I want to just spend a couple of minutes on this slide, which kind of sums up our journey in the last 2 years. When we started, we just had few lakh employees from Government of India to now 9 million plus across the country. And this journey was covered in a matter of just 2 years. Similarly, we just had a handful of courses, about 100 odd courses when we started the platform, learning material, very limited learning material. Now we've got more than 2,000, almost 2,100 courses on the platform. Now this journey, when we started, we really started as a clean slate. We didn't know how to go about it, and it was more of a trial and error. So now when I bring this journey to you, it's very, you should not be taking 2 years because you already have the story, you know what to do. We can share that with you. It should take much lesser time to get to where we are and go ahead of this in a very short duration. So the diverse landscape that we are catering to, the union government, we have employees onboarded. We also have MOUs signed with 17 states within the country, and we are well poised to sign some MOUs with other countries as well so that we can take it to the world. What are kind of partners we are having? Right, we have certain civil society organizations who have come and partnered with us. Now they are also contributing learning material on the platform. They are also contributing in a different way. They are also doing some analysis of the platform, user feedbacks, etc. So we are partnering with civil society. We have international organizations, ADB, World Bank. We have also got international academia who are contributing learning material on the platform. Similarly, government institutions and training institutions who have been conducting training for ages in their organizations. Now they are converting and digitizing their content and bringing it on the platform. So we are partnering with every possible ecosystem partner to run the platform. What kind of courses we have? Wide range of topics. Topics which are relevant for government servants, topics on technology, topics on leadership, critical thinking, something like Gen AI, climate systems, etc. So a range of topics. There are 2,000 plus courses, you can imagine. It covers all the kind of topics that are relevant and civil servants would benefit by taking these courses. So the Capacity Building Commission, I talked about the commission a couple of minutes ago, has brought out a competency dictionary which defines the various competencies that would be required for discharging a role effectively. Now the Commission has divided these competencies into 3 heads: behavioral, functional and domain. Now behavioral competencies would be something like leadership, stress management, etc. Functional would be something like digital fluency, data analysis, etc. And domain competencies would be the core knowledge that is necessary for discharging a role. So what we do in IGOT is any course that comes on the platform, any learning material that comes on the platform, we tag it with the necessary or the competency which it caters to. So when a learner undertakes a course, the competency passbook of the learner gets populated with the course that he or she has undertaken and also the competency to which it has been tagged. So it's a more of a competency managing system also more than a learning management system. So the IGOT platform beyond LMS, as I talked about it, we have aligned the courses with competencies. There are blended learning programs. The future is not to remove the brick and mortar institutes and substitute it with online, because face-to-face training has its wonderful advantages. So wherever training opportunities are available, we are using the iGot platform in a blended way, wherein participants do certain courses and then come to the training institute and come for advanced discussions on these topics, and go back and do certain other courses. So we try to blend the learning material available with the training programs that are happening in the training colleges. We also have a series of webinars, talks, and assessments could also be done. Standalone assessments could also be done on the platform. We are also building various features constantly based on the feedback that we have received from the users. We have a discussion hub which is coming up. We have a mentor-mentee module which is coming up. So various civil servants looking for some kind of mentorship could reach out to the discussion hub, post their queries, and get them answered on the platform. We have a dashboard which the ministries and organization leadership can monitor the kind of activities that are happening on the platform, what kind of courses their employees are taking, what they would want the employees to take, and whether those courses are being taken and met or not. So it's a very detailed dashboard which could be rolled up, rolled down based on the organizational hierarchy of every organization. So recently we had a National Learning Week in the month of October last year. Now during the Learning Week, we wanted that to give an impetus to civil servants to take learning seriously. The Capacity Building Commission recommended that we should at least have 4 hours of learning during this 1 week. Every civil servant should take 4 hours of learning during this week. So suddenly the platform saw a lot of activities. On an average, we have got about 80,000 course completions on the platform, but during the Learning Week, we had more than 6 lakh course completions on a single day. So the resilience of the platform was tested and demonstrated during the Learning Week in a very positive manner. We had more than 20,000 transactions per second, and the platform did not crash or hang, or that way we were able to demonstrate that we are able to take more load. So what can we offer? One, of course, is the technology platform on which the tech part, the stack on which the platform is built, the open source, and the building blocks that we have made on the open source code. Then the policy package which I shared with you, the Mission Karmyogi policy package, wherein the Government of India sought to address various problem statements through Mission Karmyogi in a policy initiative. We'll also be sharing the program packages of how we are taking iGot to the states, how we are onboarding various users, how we are partnering with content providers and getting more and more content on the platform. Content package, and of course the best practices.
How do we take it forward? The first phase, yes, we have already had 1 round of presentations. The Ministry of External Affairs had facilitated that. We had made a presentation before various officials of the CARICOM countries. Now, what we could do now is, going forward, we could partner with interested countries. We could give them a user ID password so that they could log in. We would handhold them. They can select a set of courses that would be relevant to their employees. In the next maybe 6 to 12 months, once an initial experiencing of the platform is completed by a small group of persons, we could create a dedicated instance of the platform wherein more users can log in and start having content which is relevant to their respective countries. And the final stage where we would like to handhold and bring the entire package which I talked about in the last slide, help them develop and have a full-fledged instance at their disposal. You'll have to own it up at some point of time, wherein we would move out and you would take over. Now let me open the floor for some discussion. Would be happy to take some questions. Yes, please.
I love it.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Okay, so I love it. I love the learning, competency management. I absolutely love, and I understand that you have M&E also embedded in there. My question is this. Do you provide your content open so that we can adapt and then in our instance that you will ultimately hand over and we would own, we could have adapted versions of your content.
So in one of the slides, I talked about the various content ecosystem partners. So we've got content from both private partners as well as our own institutions. So sharing content would be in consultation with them. So far, we did not have any problem sharing content. But going forward, we would want that the country should also, develop their own content and put it on the platform, which would be more relevant for you. Also pick which is relevant from here and use it.
So just to clarify, I appreciate that it is possible for us to create our content and upload to the platform as additional courses, perhaps. But my question is about do you allow third parties to, within an existing course of yours, do modifications to adapt that course to a local instance?
So we can work with our content partners for the necessary modifications that you would seek. So there are courses which have gone live 2 years ago, and we have modified them at a later stage because we needed certain changes there. So we work with the content partners. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I think I get the spirit of your position on the matter. Thank you very much.
Any other comments or?
Yes, thank you very much for that. I think that's a really great platform that you have there. Are these courses primarily aimed at professionals in the government service for free? So government employees can actually amass a series of credits, and are these stackable credits that move towards a degree or some kind of certification? Do you get participant certification for each course, and are they stackable?
You get a certificate for each course that you complete, and that is recorded in your passbook, each learner's passbook. As far as converting a set of degrees or stacking them and converting them into degrees, right now we don't have that. But we are working with our skill system, wherein we have identified set of 4 packs, each pack having a set of 6 courses. So any employee who completes these 6 courses and takes an advanced assessment on these 6 courses, not just an end of course assessment as we have, would be awarded a skill pack at the end of it. So as a beginning, we have got 4 skill packs on the platform, which will go live very shortly. But moving forward, we'll be working, getting more and more skill packs.
Lalita, what are the various partnership models you have? Do you have with other countries, or is that something which is new? And
CARICOM would be our first.
Okay, and who do you typically partner with? Would it be government to government, or universities, or how would it, or is it something still that needs to be explored, I guess?
Okay, with other countries, it needs to be explored. As far as, within country, we do MOUs with the state governments. Mm-hmm. We also have MOUs with academia. We have MOUs with other civil society organizations. Those are for specific purposes. For academia, we have MOUs for content. Okay. For civil society organizations, we have MOUs for specific purposes.
So academics are creating your content?
Yes, both the training institutes within the government as well as academia. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, that's very important to know how the platform is being created by some technology people, and the content is being created by the training institutes and academia.
And it's getting published on the platform.
And then it all comes together for training public servants.
Yes.
I want to ask about the training institutes, so the various training institutes you mentioned.
Yes.
So those institutes are all offline? And if they're all offline,
yes,
they weren't doing anything digital.
So they have, some of the training institutes have their own LMS, which would be accessible only to their trainees. Right, so you have a training institute for the administrative services. Mm-hmm. So they have their own LMS that would be accessible to those who go for training in the institute.
Okay, and you're integrating their platform
No.
with this
No. So typically an LMS of a training institute, what happens there is a group gets formed, a cohort is formed, it undertakes a training course in the academy. The various presentations that were made in the academy are put on that training LMS. But in our platform, we have a course, which is more of, it's, what do we call, asynchronous learning. That's what is on our platform. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we are not integrating it with their LMS, but we are encouraging them to digitize their training material and bring it on the platform.
Okay, and they weren't doing self-paced training either?
No, that was purely offline.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So that was what I wanted to find out, duplication.
No.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, my question is like I know few institutes like administrative staff of college in Lakshmi where the officers get trained. So are they having similar courses where they have an online training or it's offline training there? I mean, I'm talking about your platform.
Our platform is an online platform, accessible to all.
Okay, but you mentioned in your presentation that you have a face-to-face
blended programs.
Blended
So in blended programs, what we are doing is we are partnering with various training institutes, wherein before going for the offline training, they undertake a set of courses on the platform, go to the training institute, and go for a higher level discussion there.
Okay. So can academy also get trained of a few of your courses? Can they also learn? I mean, like, if I'm interested to learn a course, so is it like open for the academy also?
The platform is for public servants.
Okay, all right. Public service.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So it's mostly asynchronous learning, or do you have shared classes or anything like that?
No. Right now we are building a discussion hub. Then we also have a webinar series wherein ministries can organize a webinar, and it could be telecast, and you could have a group which sits and watches it together. But then the point that you raised, right now we are not looking at that. No.
Sorry. And the tutor support, is there a tutor support system built in?
No, right now we don't have that. So what we are doing is we are building in an AI tutor, which would be live in, say, about another 3 months or so, which would draw in from the course, from across the courses, and then answer questions related to queries. If a person is undertaking a course and has a query related to some issue there, it can be answered by an AI chat, but we are building it into the course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a couple of observations. Amazing presentation, great stuff. One, DPI definition somehow revolves around digital ID, digital payments, and data sharing. I think it's time we add education as part of it. So that's one recommendation to DPI, DPG group. The second thing is, much like the government has done, in the education sector also, there are a couple of big DPIs in India, Swayam and Diksha, which does a lot of things, Madam asked, in terms of how do you allow students to learn by themselves various courses, right? The premium institutes in India do the courses, put it available on those platforms, and anybody can use that to learn. So for example, you are doing a course in engineering, but you are not doing that in the best institute. The course content from the best institute is taken and put it in the platform so that anybody can learn that. So that infrastructure is also available in India, and you should look at that seriously as well. Thank you.
Okay, excellent, Lalitha. It's brilliant. One question from me. I'm quite interested in the competency model that you, I imagine, have developed. This represents the entire public sector.
Yes.
Can you give me a sense of scale in that competency model, the numbers of competencies that are
identified? Okay, so the commission has come up with a competency dictionary. We call it as the Karmayogi competency model, broadly divided into behavioral, functional, and domain. Now, the domain competencies have been left for each of the ministries and departments to define, because each ministry has its own set of domain knowledge. Coming to behavioral, we've got, Rakesh can supplement and correct me if we've got about 13 major heads of behavioral competencies divided into subheads, and we've got another 21 functional competencies identified, and part of it's available on the Capacity Building Commission's website. Maybe we could even take a look if you want right now. Yeah.
78 competencies, including sub-themes.
Sub-themes.
Okay.
So there are 21 and 30, and there are sub-themes.
Okay.
It's also evolving based on
Yeah. I know you laid out a sort of roadmap for the collaboration, but how quickly can we get a chance to kick the tires on this, to take a look at
We are
things like the
ready.
competencies and...
Yeah, we are ready for the next discussion. Whenever you want, we would take you through it in a detailed.
I think what ma'am has mentioned, we have content under CCPI licenses. So every content is available for any country to take it. Something like Gen AI, cybersecurity are very common across the country also.
Okay.
And we are also partnering with our IITs of India's, ISBs and others. In last couple of months, we met all top-ranked QS ranking colleges, from Harvard to Stanford to UCL. We are going to partner with them also. So I
Okay.
think in coming 3 to 4 months, we have a very strong course base also on the platform now, and it will be a part of partnerships also.
Okay, excellent. One last question from me. Look, when Gunjan and I were in Cairo, we were introduced to Sunbird as an educational sort of DPI. Is there any relationship between...
Okay. So Sunbird is the underlying...
Sunbird, yeah,
okay.
it's our technology base also.
Yeah, same.
We are also using a Sunbird platform only.
Okay, so this sits on top of Sunbird?
Yes, it sits on top of Sunbird.
In fact,
We are also part of the Sunbird community,
piece.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, it depends on the country also. You may say, okay, for my use case, I can also, teachers, the principals can be an integral part of that. You can assume the platform can be leveraged by public servants and teachers also. There's no educated tool more.
It's how you leverage it.
You have leverage it, yeah.
All right, excellent. Any other? Oh.
Yeah.
No, I think, both are same. So Diksha was designed for teachers and students. There was a course material was designed for teachers and principals and HODs of the schools, and then for the learning material for the K-12 segment also. Now in this case, same platform, course designed for the public servants. So in your case, it can be a one platform. It's designed for the courses for the principals, kids, and public servants also. Okay.
Sorry, one last quick question. CARICOM, you keep talking about CARICOM. So is CARICOM the institution you're interested in partnering with the CARICOM Secretariat, which covers those countries that you spoke of, or is this open to universities as well as other institutions that you would partner with?
So it would be a government, I think we were talking about ICTA would be a good beginning where we could partner with them, and from there you could take over to your universities and other institutes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, excellent. I mean, that gives us what you might call a very progressive starting point. Thank you very much, Lalitha. So we're going to continue that's an incredible solution opportunity. We're going to continue to vacillate a little bit between the problem space and the solution space. And so I'm going to ask, we have 3 problem owners in the room. Let me start with Ministry of Education. So what is the problem that you think a solution like this, or DPI in general, can help to solve for the education sector?
Well, based on the information shared, it would perhaps be some sense of self-paced learning, really. I note it's really an integrated platform pulling from all the various institutions, and based on the best of the best, so to speak, and persons are able to access and get the certification, which is a very important part of it. So I know we have Art, that would be good if they were here to speak as well, but not sure how there could be some sort of interaction on their part as well. As you know, they're the national training institution, and they're doing a lot in that area. So certainly self-paced learning, we do have something on the ministry side, we call it Learning Passport. That's really mostly for students in schools, but I'm getting the sense that this platform is not only for students, but for the entire country, for adults also to, learn and to acquire new skill sets and certification. So I think on that ground, this could perhaps assist us.
How is teacher training and in general upskilling on a continuous learning basis? How is that done today?
Well, the Jamaica Teaching Council, JTC, they are the responsible agency of the ministry, and so Dr. Gordon would normally have her training sessions. A lot of it takes place during the summer session. Summertime, they call it, what's the terminology again? It slipped me, but really training for teachers in ICT as well as other areas.
And that is primarily face-to-face?
No, not face-to-face. It's quite a lot of teachers, so it's normally online.
Okay.
Sometimes face-to-face, depending on what they are doing, but it's certainly, I guess, a blended approach.
Okay. All right, that's one problem space. Craig Cordell, the media sector. I mean, it's a hugely important sector, and we're looking at digital skills uplifting. What problem do you contemplate there that you see something like this as potentially a solution for?
Go ahead, Cordell.
Digital media and information literacy for the media sector itself, but more broadly for the country, because it's a very different intelligence that is required for the age in which we're operating. My only fear, Maurice, as I listened to the presentation, and the reason I asked about the offline possibilities, is that this perhaps presumes a certain level of literacy, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. But there is so much remedial work that takes place even at the university that I wonder, even in the self-paced training, we would need to get very granular about how to move people forward if they come at the zero stage with severe limitations. That is the part that
it's basic literacy.
Yes, and I'm not entirely sanguine that generative artificial intelligence is a solution to that, or a chatbot. So there we would need to think about some sociocultural elements, but clearly a solution such as this, just by deduction, makes sense in any environment where you're talking about training and learning. And what I like about it, but I also believe we need to think more deeply about, is that in the case of Jamaica and the Caribbean, for example, it's not an absence of this type of opportunity. For example, there is something called Get Safe Online Jamaica that exists now. Just the Broadcasting Commission itself collaborating with Get Safe Online UK, which is one of the largest purveyors of distributors of content for self-development in the digital ecosystem, is how to connect those dots. But as we think about connecting the dots so we don't have duplication, we also have to wonder about too much centralization. In other words, is it really a problem if you have granularity in some specialized areas? So it's very attractive to think about the centralization. It kind of makes sense intuitively, but I think we have to think more deeply about it.
Okay.
Have I been too circumlocucious, or you're?
Oh, I got you.
You're following me.
We have you. I can always read over Lila's notes.
Just to add one small point, it's been needling at me while I'm sitting here. So I said I'm here for cable and wireless, but I'm also a part of the deaf community. And so it brings me to the matter of disabilities, which we kind of come around to eventually, but I wouldn't feel good if I left here without mentioning that. A number of our ministries make practice of employing persons with disabilities. One of the things that this digital age has done is helped persons with disabilities participate and grow and get into, become entrepreneurs, etc. Because and I'm speaking primarily from the perspective of the deaf, there is no longer the communication barrier because the keyboard is the power. And everything becomes visual. So the question I wanted to ask was, in this solution, I know it can be done, everything can be done, but to what extent has it been done? Because I imagine there is a disability need in India as well, and maybe some of the other jurisdictions that we've had the conversation. So just to remember that, because that's another level of literacy that is entering into the space.
Lalitha, any comments on accessibility for?
If I just ask one question and she can answer. Okay, I was going to ask Lalita if is it only in English or because state levels and the layer that you're dealing with, and how qualified are those 89% in that layer? Are they people with first degrees, or, because I presume it's a lower level, the bottom of the pyramid, and the language barriers, because India has so many languages.
Yeah, so one of the major challenges was when we were taking to the states was because the state government employees would speak in their respective languages. So we worked with our content partners, and we have got the major courses translated and put on the platform in various languages, is those states with whom we have been having a formal MOUs. We also understand that going forward, we need to have something. We should not be, working again and again and translating. So what we are doing is we are coming up with subtitles, and so that would, with about 22 languages, which would get started in a few months now. So the learner can click the language in which he or she would like to read the subtitles, but that is one part of it. But any course which any of the state government or any, they want it in a particular language, we are also getting them translated and putting on the platform. Oh yeah, so if you're in the government service, your basic, you have class 12 would be the minimum you need to pass to be in any level of government. So we are not looking at somebody with no literacy or numeracy skills for the platform. Yeah.
First degree, but
minimum. I mean, not that everybody. At least is we are looking at that. Yeah.
And on the accessibility sort of disability issue?
So right now the courses are available. In terms of, subtitling would take care of the reading part of it to some extent. We have also had requests from other, that it should be more accessible to blind learners as well. So we are working on those aspects right now. The platform, the basic guidelines which Government of India has given for disability guidelines for each website, we are confirming to those right now.
Maurice.
Happening in parallel.
Okay, Cordell?
Yeah, Maurice, just one other point. I thought Diane's question when she asked about CARICOM, I wondered about the fact that we are really not homogenous. I mean, let's just say that. We are CARICOM, but we are not homogenous. English common law, but each jurisdiction has its own set of rules and requirements. So just in terms of implementation, I think we need to interrogate whether it's one go carry come or whether we kind of do it in a phase basis, government to government, which invites its own difficulties, but I just wanted to put that on the table so it is not seen in a sort of too oversimplistic way, especially when you're thinking about the content. There are some things that will cut across all the jurisdictions, obviously, if you're teaching people about agentic artificial intelligence or generative artificial intelligence. But in terms of what they are to do, it gets a little bit more complicated.
Okay, all right, noted. Great. So, Michael, I'm going to move to you to give us your perspective from a UNDP standpoint on this problem space and the DPI opportunities.
Thank you. I need another hand. I think you should have another set of slides. We'll switch to that, but I'll try to be brief, and maybe I don't know if we'll run through a few more and have more of a group discussion, because I'm seeing already a lot of crossover in some of the themes here, and I think that's be important to think about. But I wanted to start, being here from the UN family, I wanted to start, as I often do, with the Sustainable Development Goals, which most of us are familiar with, that there are these 17 goals that all of the countries of the world essentially have agreed to, that these are the things that we'll work on for the next several years. There's good news and bad news. I'll start with the bad news as we get the slides going, but I'll start with the bad news, and that's we're off target. We're off track to achieve the SDGs by 2030, unfortunately. Significantly off track, and we need to not only get going, but we need to go even faster than we had planned before in order to get there. But all is not lost, because a lot of the targets that are beneath the SDGs actually have some guidance that we can learn from other sectors. We did a report with ITU back in the end of 2023, so just over a year ago, called the SDG Acceleration Agenda. And what this identified was a large, what I call a Tetris-style diagram with all of these blocks that were what we call technical enablers and non-technical enablers to achieve the SDGs. And it turns out there's a lot we can learn from the open source world that we here focused around DPI this week have been talking a lot about open source. But it's important to remember that open source can teach us many of the enablers that are necessary to speed our progress toward the SDGs. And I've called out 4 here that we can learn from open source and their 30-plus years of experience and adapt that into the public sector. Open source has figured out how to do collaborative governance and distributed leadership. They've been working and collaborating online for decades now. They've developed solutions across organizations, across borders. So there's some things we can learn from them there. They've been working on open standards and safe interoperability for decades as well. They've been figuring out how to do peer review, working in the open, working on how to audit each other's work so that they can trust it and make sure that it's a safe, secure systems that can be deployed. Pretty much everything that you use has some type of open source component in it, even if you're not aware of it nowadays. The open source community has sorted out the idea of how to scale shared resources through the open source licenses themselves that give us these really important 4 freedoms that we often don't talk about but are really key to unlocking this work that we're doing. And those are the freedoms to use the software, to study it, understand how it works, and importantly to modify and share those changes and those improvements that we make. And then finally, open source has, I don't want to say perfected, but they've been working very hard on community-driven innovation for many decades. Not only working in their own organizations, but working together with the people and organizations that are using this software to refine it and make it better, make it more well-suited for their needs. And I said it's a success story in the private sector already. You can see the stats here. Basically, open source is everywhere, even if we don't recognize it nowadays. this is really a lot of what we were talking about already this afternoon. There's unfortunately not a lot of open source know-how within governments. It's not that the skills aren't there, the raw skills are there, but people are often faced with questions around the viability or trustworthiness of open source solutions compared to other things. They're not sure how to procure it and bring it into government to work with it. They may not have the overall capacity to deploy and maintain some of these software as opposed to somewhere that they could just go and hire a software vendor, an SI, to come in and handle everything themselves. Open source is often more of a hands-on solution. On the flip side of the equation, we have a lot of pressure coming from outside inward, from international funders who are, looking to do quick deployments. This idea that we heard earlier about, DPI as a service. It's a great concept, but there's a lot of pressure to move quickly, and we may not fully understand the ramifications of those choices. Meanwhile, there are a lot of intergovernmental institutions like the UN that are really pressuring people to try to do more reuse, do more global collaboration. So we have all of these forces that are kind of mixing together. And this has happened already. This has happened in the private sector. And the private sector came up with a concept called the Open Source Program Office to try to really focus in on some of these key areas. And I have a cheat sheet because I hadn't fully prepared my presentation for today. But there are 4 key areas that the private sector kind of perfected over the years. And as you can see, 97% of the private sector is using open source. Among the largest companies, well over a third now have adopted this OSPO model. And the OSPO is essentially just a center of knowledge, a center of practice and coordination within an organization. And they focus on a few different areas. They focus on usage of open source within an institution, building trust around that open source software that they're deploying, and the open source practices of developing and maintaining it. Culture change, someone said earlier, there's a really major factor of culture shift that's involved in working in a more open environment. Engagement with the open source communities, the people and the organizations that are building and maintaining this software. And then finally, helping with strategy around how to leverage open source in their different organizations. So we've got a good track record in the private sector, rapid deployment now of this OSPO model. In the public sector, we now have over 25 plus universities have adopted an OSPO, and they've federated them, so they have actually now a network of their counterparts that they're using to collaborate with each other, building upon their own work, sharing knowledge, sharing resources with each other. Within government now, we're seeing OSPOs at all levels, up and down from the lowest city levels within Europe, a growing list of national level OSPOs, and then we're even seeing international organizations such as the European Union, WHO, several organizations within the UN are now embracing this as well. I won't read all of these stats to you, but there's just a lot of awareness. People are building collaborations through this OSPO construct. And so they have now a network of counterparts across sectors, so across the private sector, into academia, into civil society, and now into public service. Everyone facing their own problems, but being able to translate that knowledge into other sectors. And so if you look at example, many of the tasks that an e-governance group or an e-government group would take on within government, an OSPO can actually provide a lot of these activities and take on a lot of these activities related to training, coordinating some of the education, coordinating building of curriculum. And I'll probably ask my colleague, Dr. Kim, to speak on this a little bit more than she did earlier. Supporting internally within government the actual deployment and reuse of open source tools, be it within a DPI context or be it more tactical deployment of open source, and promoting this evolution of thinking about procurement, how you bring in software into an organization, how you shift from signing a license agreement and an annual support contract to entering into a more co-stewardship model with the communities that you're leveraging as you build up a DPI infrastructure in your country. We have a model here within UNDP, which I won't go into all the details here, but the key is our long-term vision is to support the building of this global network of public sector open source program offices around the world. particularly in the global majority, but to complement some of the efforts that we've already seen happening in Europe, in the US, et cetera. We have two different kind of engagements. I'm going to focus on the second one, but we also have an early stage as kind of an accelerator program that we take 2 weeks in a country, and we'll actually walk through, do a lot of stakeholder interviews, map out a journey for them, map out an engagement plan and an advocacy plan. But ultimately, and this is the pilot that Dr. Kim mentioned that we're doing in Trinidad, we're also doing one in Kenya, and I believe they're kicking off this week, and we had a good kickoff workshop 2 weeks ago in Trinidad. But it's a 2-year program funded by the European Commission to do a fully staffed pilot. I think we're going to end up hiring 4 or 5 people total to start with in Trinidad. We're still working on all of those details. But importantly, in both of these countries, and what we want to test out with this pilot is to understand what a partnership OSPO looks like, where it's not just an office or an agency within the government working on this, but they're actively outbound collaborating with their colleagues in academia, and importantly, their colleagues in the tech ecosystem. So in most countries, there are groups active in one form or another who are focused on application development. They might be focused on a specific technology stack. They might be purely kind of open source focused. But whatever those ecosystem players are, we want to bring them into the fold with this OSPO and integrate them into the resources in the country, where we have an ultimate vision of building up the capacity locally within the country, the skill sets, the awareness of open source, and kind of slowly changing the culture that we mentioned to understand that open source can be a viable option to launch into the private sector, to do small business consulting in a country through a region where you can have specialists or SIs grow up organically through these partnerships with the countries. I don't know, Dr. Kim, do you have want to say anything else about kind of the vision for the collaboration with the UE and kind of our curriculum ideas? We have a minute.
So I think Michael said a very important thing is that we are going to hire. So the office is not yet established, and the firm plan even is not yet finalized. So what I'm going to say is just some general remarks about where we think things are going to go. And these are my remarks. So mine alone. And Michael will correct me where I go too far out. What I see for this is one of the activities that we plan to do at the TT OSPO is to develop a sustainability model for our OSPO. That to me is the most important thing, but it can't be the only thing. We also want to not only develop the model, but also to implement the model. So this is very sort of visionary, and whereas I think this is a central thing of importance, we believe it's also important that we have small wins and activities that are meaningful along the road. So there are a number of things, the usual suspects, the hackathons, the little workshops, and so those types of things which build sensitivity, they expand and develop a network, a community of different types of stakeholders, not only developers, who buy into the notion gradually, about the whole open source and building what I refer to as the legitimacy of open source. The other thing that I think is important is this. The St. Augustine campus will be the home of the Trinidad and Tobago OSPO, and therefore what I have shared with UNDP is that it's important that our campus gets some benefit from this. And one of the models that I propose is that we as a campus offer continuing professional education certification at a tiered level. So different, completely very different levels of end users in the government service that we develop the content for, drawing on existing content and adapting it for our use. Because this is, you would recognize, if I may say so, that was my first and only question just now to the previous speakers. Because that's very important. I mean, I'd love to use the model that India uses. I love all of the framework of it. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to develop content that is relevant and useful to us. And if it is that we can leverage existing content and just make small revisions, modest revisions, to me, that's the best, that's a win-win, yeah? But I can't ever see myself importing lock, stock, and barrel. I can't even see myself going back to your content providers and saying, well, will you consider doing this modification? That, on a practical basis, it is just, to me, I would have to be really sold that idea. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem like a reasonable thing. Yeah? So the model here would be, we have to understand that universities have their own financial, and I can stop if you want me to stop. 2 minutes? So universities have their own financial challenges. But there are models that I have implemented that have worked spectacular. And I will give you an example. Please allow me, but I will take under 2 minutes. I arranged with Nortel Telecoms, the equipment manufacturer, to give me their material. I modified it minimally, and I delivered it to TSTT. Our operator, and I paid Nortel, I meaning UE, paid Nortel nothing. TSTT, I arranged with Nortel, would give UE all of the revenues that came to UE. Nortel got none. Right? That was a model that worked fine because Nortel got somebody to train people in Trinidad and Tobago, so they didn't have to do it. TSTT got training at an extremely affordable rate, and the University of the West Indies, for very little, got revenues. And in fact, I also had TSTT give me the room for the training, and to give everybody the lunches, and to organize, including us, and to organize all of the bags and everything. So that is a win-win. And you see, that might sound dumb, but to me, that's the only kind of model that you can consider, where every single entity gets something. So anyway, so there's lots more that I would love to talk about, but my 2 minutes is up. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. I think one way to summarize it just briefly is when we think about these problems, let's think of it as the open source software developers do. Think of them as how they're creating software code, but they're creating it with the intention for others to use, to modify, to share with others. And so can we apply that thinking into our training materials, into our collaborative processes, and really how we build these structures. And as the Trinidad OSPO will be building materials, they'll also be offering those up for others then to, in the future, build upon as well. And that's how we take advantage of the network effect, and we can grow quickly, and we can go faster toward those SDGs. So in closing, I won't even go through this. There's a lot going on within UNDP around open source and within the UN more broadly. All of the UN agencies now are collaborating on their open source activities. And so we have a working group where we work hand in hand with each other, and we are here to support all of these efforts and all of the efforts to build more open source, more DPGs, more DPI, because the clock is ticking and we need to move faster if we're going to make, deliver on this better world that we have a vision for. So that's all I have. Thank you. We'll talk more in a few minutes, but I'll hand it over to my colleague for the next slides.
All right, thanks, Michael. Incidentally, I was just told we have 30 minutes. And we do want to come out of here with some concrete steps. So Mariana, the idea of sandboxes is an important idea for being agile. Saying, okay, here's some stuff we want to do. We want to do some stuff with the resources that the team from India is providing. We want to take an open source approach. What's the best way to ramp up on that? How do sandboxes help us to do that?
I love this. Thank you, Maurice.
You're not going to use all of our 30 minutes, are you?
You what?
You're not going to use all of our 30 minutes.
Oh, no, I won't. No. While we get the slides up, I just have to start by saying thank you, because you're all still sitting here, and I know that it's been a very intense 2 days. But and again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm Colombian. So you'll have to bear with me, because this means that I like to play, and I like to shake things up a bit, because I feel that, and again, I'm young and I look like I'm 15, I'm not. But the reality is that young people are missing a lot from these kinds of conversations, and they bring a playfulness to these kinds of spaces. And that's what I've learned working with them for many years. So that's also why I like to bring the playfulness into the conversation. And when talking about sandboxes, I mean, I'll get to that in a sec, but I really hope that we all played when we were children. And that we had the chance to build things and destroy them maybe. Okay, here we go. So I'll be talking about the potential of sandboxes for DPI, and sandboxes are as tools for responsible innovation. I'm not sure if I can okay. So I wanted to start with a story, and you'll see that I like Legos, so you'll see a bit of those in the slides. But again, we're talking about real people, real services, and I want to echo what Dr. Kim was mentioning yesterday. It's all about making things easy for people, for real people. In the end, it's about the people. So imagine, and this is not only imagine in a different world, but imagine in our different countries and our different context, a municipality that realized and saw that a certain town or a certain part of a country didn't have internet connectivity. So what they realized is that they could put together some amplifiers and take some already existing connectivity to the town by doing something that was considered illegal in that specific country. And then we find a regulator that's a bit troubled with this, because indeed this new place or this municipality now has access to the internet. And maybe in the future, in the past they didn't, but now they do. But the regulator is facing a very weird dilemma, because although they are connected now, they did that in a way that was illegal, or that was not the way in which the regulation had pretty much outlined the way in which things had to be done. So it's actually the duty of the regulator to punish them and to cut that connectivity. And what we've seen in these kinds of cases, this is not a unique case, this has happened in many different parts of the world. It happens with, for instance, waste management of systems that are put in place, but they actually contradict the existing regulation or the ways in which things have always been done. And what ends up happening, everyone loses, because we don't have connectivity in that specific place. And the regulator had to punish them, but at the same time, it didn't make a lot of sense. So what then? We're seeing that there are potential solutions that are actually incompatible with existing frameworks, that don't fit into the box of how we've always done things. Then we also see that actors are, of course, discouraged to implement innovative solutions. And this is not only the municipality that decided to have a brilliant idea. It can be startups, it can be young people, it can be just people that have ideas and say, I think that we could make things easier if we did this, or created whatever solution. So in the end, we see a lot of people resigned to follow how things have been done, because it's very hard to drive systemic change. And then what we see also is that change is seen and perceived as too costly. And we normally stop the conversation there, because it's exhausting and we don't want to get there. And that's why I am talking about cultural change, and this is what we really need to talk about. And when Maurice kindly invited me to talk about sandboxes, I thought we keep on talking about the wallets, the different layers, but in the end, it's about culture. It's about how we see the world and what are the solutions that we're building and how do we want to change our minds. So I just want to present very quickly a dilemma that I feel we have been a bit of ignoring, because we've been talking about openness for a while and we're excited about open source, but we need to realize, and I feel that I'm forced to go back to this binary challenge that we're seeing in the innovation space. So we are often, and I really think that humans, we're obsessed with binaries and with seeing things as black or white. So when it comes to innovation, we're actually seeing this binary of protection and openness. What does that mean? Well, that we want clarity, we want things to be predictable. So we see a lot of movements around openness and opening data, opening source, opening code. But then we also see a lot of people advocating for protection, for privacy protection. I mean, I would love to see a show of hands who feels scared when they say that they're going to violate your privacy. Yeah, I mean, it's become something. So the thing is that when it comes to innovation, we're more often finding ourselves trying to define what to do in this binary. But the truth is, and yeah, we're seeing that this also leads to a lot of challenges, right? So if we go all the way into protection, we know that there are some maybe missed opportunities. We know that GDPR in Europe is seen as the gold standard in many cases, but we know that that's leading sometimes to missed opportunities when it comes to innovation. But then if we go all the way into openness, I think we're all familiar with Cambridge Analytica and many other things that can go wrong if we go all open. So our approach at the Datasphere Initiative is that we need to find that Goldilocks zone. And just FYI, I dreamed of being an astronaut when I was a little girl. I didn't want to be a princess, I wanted to go to Mars. And that means that I'm actually very familiar with this thing about the Goldilocks, which is what the NASA has defined as the specific place in space in which water remains liquid. So it doesn't evaporate and it doesn't freeze, but it actually remains liquid. And that's what they've seen happens in our planet, and that's why we're alive, because we are in that Goldilocks zone. So my take, and our take at Datasphere, is that we need to find that space to responsibly unlock the value of DPI and the different other emerging technologies and innovations that we have. And we know that this is a challenge. And that is why we need to be agile. And I'm going to echo what Matthew has been saying for the past 2 days, which is the need to build trust. And yes, we know that we need to go together, but we also know that we need to be faster. And we know that the ways in which we've been doing things are slow. And if we're relying on building an ecosystem that enables DPI in a way that's responsible, we cannot keep on trusting or just giving, for instance, the Congress of a country the responsibility of building new laws or regulations so that then we have the enabling environment that we need. We need to be more agile. And I think that we also need a paradigm shift, because when it comes to governance, and this is not just regulation, it has to do with bringing people on board, it has to do with cultural change. We, again, have binaries in terms of paradigms. So we sometimes talk about regulating and forgetting. So we've had this approach for years of, okay, I already have a law, let's just forget about it, we're done, we have the law. Or we can just wait and see. And once we've waited and seen, then maybe we'll figure it out. But the reality is that we need to adapt and learn. And it applies to everything. And it applies across sectors. So, again, I want to see a show of hands. Who played with blocks growing up? Legos? Sandboxes? Okay, we all did, good. My favorite thing about sandboxes growing up is that it was a very safe space where I could just go, build a castle maybe one day, and then maybe destroy it because I didn't like it, and then I would bring some friends the next day and build something new. And I could iterate and destroy it, and it was safe. And I see a lot of you smiling because I think that we're resonating with this notion of feeling safe, of feeling held. And this is what I want us to stay with today. I mean, if you don't remember anything from this presentation afterwards, just please remember the importance of going back to that childhood years, or those childhood years in which we actually learned how to play, and did that in a safe space. Because what are sandboxes? They're multi-stakeholder, collaborative, safe spaces where we can test technologies, when we can test regulations, thank you for the Zoom, and innovative ways of collaborating. They're spaces in which we can foster trust, in which we can bring the public sector with the private sector, with hopefully civil society, and even children, young people, community that are living with disabilities, like all of these communities that are normally an afterthought, that are often considered when it comes to thinking about the safeguard, which is pretty much the seatbelt. Once we've designed the car, built the car, and then we're like, oh, people can actually get killed with this. Okay, let's put a seatbelt. Instead of doing that later and talking about safeguards, why don't we do it at the beginning? Why don't we do it from the design? The thing is that to do that, it sounds beautiful, but we need a method, we need a space to do it, and we need the mechanisms to do it in a way that's safe and that people know that they're safe to experiment, to come as they are, to share their thoughts and share their experiences and stories. So, and Maurice, I'll promise I'll wrap up soon. We have a series of reports that I invite you all to take a look at. This is pretty much a history of reports that we've done at the DataSphere Initiative. We first started exploring the potential of sandboxes for data in that initial report that we launched in 2021. Just recently, we launched the report on sandboxes for AI, which is pretty much outlining the methodology on how to sandbox. We are doing coaching and pretty much holding the hands of different governments across the world to build and design their sandboxes in a way that's responsible. Because the thing, and I think that many of you had heard about sandboxes, and sandboxing has become a part of the narrative. But the thing is that we need to learn to do that responsibly. It's not enough to say that we've done a sandbox, because sandboxes are resource-intensive solutions that require teams, that require money, that require time. So that means that we need to learn how to do that responsibly. You'll see that in those reports. And we have a big project in Africa. So we've been learning a lot from our partners there on how to build sandboxes responsibly and guiding them in that process too. And you'll see in that first report that I shared that sandboxes can be categorized in many different ways. We like this categorization of operational sandboxes, which are spaces in which data and technologies are handled. So this is, for instance, something that the UK has done with their digital identity system. So actually experimenting within the sandbox with the technology. And then sandboxes can also be regulatory. So that means testing against specific regulatory frameworks that are being developed or already developed. And I'll share this later because I think it would be valuable for you all to also, kind of have access to the slides and to everything that we've all shared. But the most important thing about sandboxes is what I was mentioning, the need to build trust, the need to spur collaboration in a way in which we're really bringing the private sector together with the public sector, and hopefully also civil society. This is something that we insist on. It's not enough to just do public-private partnerships. We know that a lot of people are being left behind and outside of those kinds of conversations because there is no way in which a multi-stakeholder consultation can be agile enough to set up before, for instance, launching a digital identity system in a country. And you'll see also in our reports that we've done extensive knowledge and research work around sandboxes in the world. So we have a repository of sandboxes around the world, understanding the practices that they have pretty much adopted, what are the good things and what are the horrible things that should not happen again. And this is something that we need to remember. We really need to learn. We come to these spaces and often share everything that has gone so well. And we're so good at that. But we also need to share what has gone wrong and the things that we said, we should never do this again. This actually didn't work out. And this is some frankness that we need to have. And that's why I also feel that things like sandboxes can help us out a lot. And again, as I was mentioning, there are many different reasons to do a sandbox for regulators, for the private sector, and also for civil society. But in the end, it's about agility. It's about trust. It's about coming together and sharing what we're doing and making sure that we can learn and actually do things differently. So again, going back to that playfulness. And that's also why I wanted to share this thing of sandboxing as a new mindset, because as sandboxes are resource-intensive solutions, we know that it can be, expensive. And we do not always need to go all the way into developing a sandbox. Sometimes it's a mindset. Sometimes it's drawing from the methodology and learning and then just adapting to our context. And I'll just wrap up with this. DPI and sandboxes have a lot of potential together. From prototyping different DPI levels before broader implementation to testing interoperability and scalability in a way that's agile and iterative, to also mitigating risks and making sure that the investments that we're doing are effective. So that means testing the technologies before they're put out into the world, making sure that we're engaging the right people at the beginning, bringing the different stakeholders together to collaborate, And then also what Dr. Kim was mentioning, making sure that this is also user-centered in its design and making sure that we're bringing the right people to test that. I just shared that we have a methodology. You can check this out in our report on how to sandbox. And this is the big project that is pretty much bringing all of these things together, the Global Sandboxes Forum. That's showcasing sandboxes, building toolkits for people to build them, doing also capacity building with policymakers across Africa, across Latin America. Also doing hopefully outreach and speaking in those kinds of spaces because these kinds of mindsets are needed more than ever, and then supporting, coaching, and accompanying these processes. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share. If you don't remember anything after this, just remember the importance of play and playing and going back to being children and trusting our friends, just as when we were like, I don't know, 5 years old. That's it, Maurice.
Thank you, Mariana. Listen, my challenge with that is I have to go back a long, long way, much further than you do. Thank you very much. Listen, you all thought you'd get away without doing any work, right? We have just about 10, 15 minutes left. You all came to this session with some notions, some ideas of what am I looking for? What problem am I trying to solve? What challenge am I having with education, with training, with skills building? That, okay, I wonder if there's a solution here. I mean, you've heard the generous offer that Karma Yogi has on the table. The discussion's already engaged with CARICOM, and certainly a very real opportunity to access a quality, scalable platform with, and nowadays whenever I look at training, Kim, I always think competency models first, and then courses after. So I'm really, really keen on seeing what that looks like. So, I mean, that's on the table. The open source approach that UNDP is advocating and the OSPOs is on the table. Sandbox at some point are an important part of the agility of saying, okay, I'd like to play with this thing and see what it looks like, see what it feels like. So now, armed with all of that, all of those tools or possibilities or opportunities, I'd like each table to just write down one thing that you're trying to solve, one problem that you think you have. Was a thing that you heard that said, wow, this could potentially help me to address that problem? And just three things. And the third thing is, what would I like to do based on both of the above? So Dan, you may have come to this with the notion that we have challenges with our online delivery platforms, right? Because Maurice and his team are not providing enough technical support. Okay, here's an option that Karma Yoga offers. Here's what I would like to do. Whatever it is, just three things, because the conference has told me that I have to come out of this workshop with at least a plan for some things that we could potentially take forward, right? So not rocket science, just huddle a little bit at each table. Someone scribble this down. 3 points. What challenge or problem or issue or scenario you came into this discussion? Because you came here for a reason. So education, capacity building, skills building. Okay, and that's a draw. You've heard some interesting possibilities, opportunities. And then here's what I would like to do with what I've Okay. All right, everyone. I don't hear you converging. But, okay, if one person from each table can just volunteer to capture whatever idea you've come up with and email. Well, do you want to tell us your idea?
Yeah,
sure.
I'm happy to.
Okay.
So our group talked about the problem being a need to create a learning environment. I think that was the theme across all of the presentations that we heard today. And our solution was that it would be good to try or pilot some of these different solutions like Karma Yogi to test different innovations to see if they'll work, or technologies, potentially in a sandbox or something. And with that, we also find it's really important that we want to invite different stakeholders of the ecosystem to be involved in that process. And from there, we would tailor the solutions for capacity building and kind of instituting that learning environment.
Okay. And are you looking at stakeholders within a particular country context, or you're looking to potentially pursue a regional kind of initiative?
Well, I was thinking from a country context, but Mariana brought up that a regional dialogue.
Technology involved, but we want technology to work with other stakeholders to co-create this product so that there is an acceptance of the product and everybody will, instead of pushing down the throat, let's co-create is the idea.
All right, very good. Can I ask one of you to volunteer to write your idea down and just email it to me so we can capture them? Yeah, got it. Okay.
I think we discussed the issue of trust. Problems that come with adoption of open source. And how then do we ensure that the experience of the end user is factored into... Oh, I'm sorry. So the idea of trust and the fact that I was given an example of open source being a solution that was simply placed on the table at somewhere I worked and we were told, use this. And of course, there had been no capacity building, and therefore those issues need to be placed on the table. So as you're looking at open source solution, consider what is going to be the user experience. How is this going to impact the end user? And therefore, if it doesn't go positively, then it becomes an issue of trust, adoption, and so forth. So, yes.
And your specific initiative to experiment with this idea is going to be what?
Well, looking at what we've seen from
Karma Yoga.
I've forgotten. All right. So looking at that in terms of building capacity, building familiarity with the solution, but again, having that user experience be factored into the development process.
Okay. Is that a specific thing within the OSPO configuration or within the OSPO sort of how it's organized, that trust is an element that we have to...
Yeah, this is, I think, why having a team situated within government to think about the design and deployment of these initiatives is so important, and can assess and understand at the beginning what are the levels of knowledge that are required. We use the comparison as not everyone needs to know how to rebuild the engine of a car, but we should all know what to do if your car breaks down on the side of the road. So when you go into the library, you can grab a beginner book or an advanced book, and understanding which people need to know what level of advanced knowledge for a successful deployment and adoption.
Okay. So Shelley-Ann, you're going to write down your table's idea and email it to me?
Yes. Can we do that now while it's fresh in my head?
Sure, sure. Okay.
So for our table, we envision a problem of engaging youth, particularly in marginalized communities, in order to provide training and opportunities. But oftentimes we find youth in these areas are unable to get a job, and they want these particular trainings that are attuned to their needs and to be able to enable them to, get the jobs that they desire. So our solution was to offer an e-learning platform, providing context-appropriate training, particularly with the aims of credentialing individuals. And we thought it might be best to enable or collaborate with private sector partners, providing a sort of pipeline of training into eventual employment, providing a tangible benefit to youth based on the competencies accessible on the platform. And the plan can be to look at the Karma Yogi platform as to sort of facilitate this process, but also working with stakeholders and the youth themselves to make sure what's provided is contextually appropriate and fit their needs.
Interesting. Sorry, Lalita. Well, let me ask Rakesh. Just one quick question. Does the Karma Yoga platform, does it scale down to a very sort of discrete, localized training initiative? So now it operates at scale. I mean, you're doing thousands of users and courses and so forth. But can it be employed to address a very discrete training initiative where, let's say in a community where you're targeting youth for a particular set of training interventions? Does a platform like this scale down to that kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. So depending on the use case you have, you want to train health workers or teachers or any target segment you have, you can have a content accordingly. So platform is scalable. It can meet any requirements, the scale we just saw in India. But you have to customize for your particular use case or department. It's easily customizable. Okay. Yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah.
Okay, great. You may write it down and send it to me, the idea. All right. The high power table. Who's?
The dictators. Okay, I came in last, but I was able to clarify some of the issues everybody was having. So we want to set up an OSPO here at UV Mona.
Yeah,
So that's the first thing. Then we are going to get an instance of Karma Yogi and work with the government to get that, because we as a university can't get it. We'll have to work with ICTA and utilize their servers and help. Probably, maybe we can create the sandbox before it being installed on the government, so we can create an operational sandboxes where our media literacy, our teacher training, our public service training, all that can be experimented before we put it on the government data center.
Okay. All right, so you're going to write it down and send it to me. No, that's all right. We're wrapping up now. One more solution around here. Go ahead, Denique.
So we're working on pretty much the same sort of problem as Aleem over there. And so what we did, in recognizing, of course, that we are talking about DPI, and so some solutions like Karma Yogi and the Inji wallet, for example, are much larger scale than maybe the issue that we are focusing on right now. But what we wanted to take from it was the spirit of those things. So it was really to piggyback on some of what Aleem had said. But to note too that if we're talking about scale, there is a possibility that one, if you remember what he was saying about participation and about having skills building and so on, there is an opportunity if you want to be able to combine that kind of digital capacity building among civil society, right? And to be able to do that across different countries. And so it's quite possible that you would be able to get that scale, but also to get, if you want, documentation that can transfer, that can be used in different contexts. So I think there are some opportunities for, if you want, synergy.
Okay.
But
yeah, write it down and send it to me.
I'll try.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. It was very instructive. Huh? This was very instructive, very useful, and certainly look forward to getting those ideas, consolidating them, and playing them back to both yourselves and the organizers who are looking for the outputs from these workshops. And I must commend you for being here, even though there's music and the bar is open. So without further ado, this is a wrap. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Remember, there are 2 more workshops tomorrow.